Hi guys, welcome to this episode of Future One Commentaries. We are once again commentating the Keyforge Premier League. Today we have Vince Bowl. Two
Oh,
Vinces
oh,
enter,
oh.
one Vince leaves.
And then the
And
other Vince leaves, having been defeated in a game of Keyforge.
no, Death. Death is on. I was
Oh,
told.
death. Oh, okay.
Is it not? It's not a death. I'm just if in the future it's not a death match. No, they are just going to play Keyforge. I was
Uh,
misinformed.
well, I guess we'll sack off this recording then. It's gonna be real dull if no one
Yeah.
dies.
I mean, there's no death on the
Uh,
line. What's even the point? Not even the Shadow Realm. No, not even the Shadow Realm. Apparently, it's
I just gonna play some Keyforge.
just gonna play some
Moving swiftly
Keyforge.
on from this bit, we have VinceT of the Manchester Mavericks versus Vincenzo from the Hamburg Atlanteans.
Indeed, we do.
Both great players, both great teams. Gonna be quite a match.
Yep, and we have. I think the standings at the moment are we have Vince on is it 3-1, and I believe Vincenzo is on 0-3. So a bit of a kind of like top to bottom of the table clash here. Could be an interesting game.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone can upset Vince's game.
Indeed.
So let's look at the decks. We're going to start off with the notorious, I think at this point, Sasha Compact Apothecary Delegate,
Yeah.
which has unsurprisingly, I think, been banned 4 times because, wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is the deck that I believe is it still the highest rated AOA deck on
Uh,
decks of Keyforge, or is
the
it?
last time I checked, it was third highest, but it has been the highest AOA deck at various points.
Yeah, and you can definitely see why. I mean, we've talked about this deck before. We've commented on this deck quite a few times. But you look at the Brobnar, double Drummond, double Ganger Chieftain.
Yeah,
Great cards and stuff like Into the Fray, Relentless Assaults as well can be really good cards just to kind of keep your opponent's board clear and stack up a load of Ember for you.
yeah. So already you're looking at a Ganganaut combo that's very likely to go off, and then you go into the Mars and you notice there is a double Martian Generosity
Indeed, there
and a
is.
Key Abduction.
Yeah, it's also a Mars needs Ember as well, just to kind of really make it hard for your opponent to keep Ember with that Orbis Bombardment, where you can
Yeah,
just bit damage across the board, Ember on your creatures, friend.
or you could do it the other way around, where there's already some damage thrown about from Brobnar, so you hit the Mars needs Ember, then Bombardment, then Generosity.
Yeah, it's just multiple ways of this deck just kind of completely going off and going off in a way where you functionally can't stop it. With a Proliferator on the board, you can be then archiving your Key Abductions, your Generosities,
Yeah.
for use the next turn.
Oh, also a Mars, sorry, a Grunt Buggy as well. Did we miss that?
Yeah, Grunt Buggy as well. Yeah, really useful one. I think Grunt Buggy has become less useful with the kind of the advent of Saurian becoming a really strong archetype, especially in Worlds Colliding to an extent in Mass Mutation.
Yeah, more 5+ power creatures knocking about, but this deck's got quite a few.
Indeed, it does. Yes, it definitely can. If kind of like having off the faster start, Grunt Buggy can be used to kind of delay the game. And when you've got kind of like 20, 25 cards in your hand with those Master Generosities and using Key Abduction, don't really care what the key cost is anymore a lot of the time.
Yeah, and also it sets up the Generosity better, because if your key cost is 8 or 9, because of Grunt Buggy, then you know, draw a
Very
whole bunch of
true.
cards.
Very true. Final one we'll look at is the shadows. Kind of everyone focuses on the Brobnar and Mars in this set, but the shadows is good. Like Customs Office is a card we've talked about a lot at this point as being a really useful card, but some big shadows creatures in Dodgers and Yancey gangs to help with that.
Yeah,
Grunt
it really
Buggy.
contributes. Nice legacy dodger. And yeah, just adds to the Grunt Buggy, bit of steel here and there.
Mhm.
We talk about it like it's bad, but because it's only 22 SAS compared to 32 or 38 in the other two houses.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
But
the kind
it's
of thing
decent.
where this deck is so good already. It feels silly to say, oh well, if we added this, it will be slightly better. Like a TMTP is the obvious only thing that's missing here, and I feel like if you gave this deck a TMTP as well, I might just be a little bit sick in my mouth, to be
It
honest.
would never lose.
Yeah.
Moving on to some still good but more normal decks.
Yes, we have
Um,
Oziblava Abla Zigori.
the Peculiar Abra from Gora.
Ah,
So this deck hasn't lost yet, and I think that's because it just is very tough to play against because it has so many ways just to stop you from forging.
yeah, this is kind of slow down central. Double doorsteps, Drumbles with two arises.
Yeah, so you rise and then play a Drumble, and if they kill it, you doorstep.
You got miasmas as well, just to stop the forge, and then a bunch of steel and like Nerve Blast, Relentless Whispers, Moon Curses, Bait and
Yeah,
Switches.
but also stuff like Terms of Redress, Raiding Knight, Sequus,
Yeah,
and the Sanctum as well.
yeah, I think
So
that's the thing. This deck has got so many ways to kind of say like you have to go like I'm gonna just keep knocking you off check and making it hard for you to generate Ember. until I get a doorstep to heaven, and then just make it all go away.
Yep, and it generates its own ember pretty quickly whilst doing so, right? It's got 17 pips, it's got 28 expected ember,
It does indeed, yeah.
which is very high.
Yeah, I mean, you got stuff like Ghosted Hand. You've got kind of like those Nerve Blasts, which are great. Poison Waves, Relentless Whispers, great steal ones to like knock your opponent off, but also get you some ember too. The disruption as well. Control the weaks in there, which is great. Succubus
Yeah,
to kind of reduce the card draw. Ember Imp, things
yeah.
you just
Obviously,
have to deal with.
we talked about the Drumbles and the Arise, but obviously, if you're putting down an Ember Imp, a Snurge, and a Succubus, that's a problem.
Yeah, those are creatures you have to get rid of if you're the opponent. You can't leave them on the board because they stop you doing stuff so well that when you do, Arise straight back.
So pretty good deck, very hard to beat.
The only problem is probably lack of speed. We are seeing negative on speed. You are pretty much playing the cards as you're dealt them here. With 13 creatures in the deck and no real board control, I can definitely see a situation where this deck just kind of gets run over by a very creature-heavy deck.
Potentially, yes. It's got 3 Fates, Poison Wave, Blinding Light, but it's starting to run out a bit after that.
Indeed you are.
Then finally, from Vince, we have the Lord of Hyperberg.
Do indeed. This deck is a deck we've seen Vince play a lot. I'd say it's kind of like probably one of the deck that Vince is best with in terms of like as a player and kind of getting the maximum out of the deck. He's played this deck a lot. He's had a lot of success with it.
He qualified in the Archon qualifier playing this deck, so clearly has pedigree, basically.
I think the first thing everyone's going to look at is we have 4 sins, and they're pretty good sins at that as well. Gluttony is the big one, especially with a Saurian House for moving ember from your creatures to your pool.
Yep. And double Infernus, Obsidian Forge, which is sort of the deck's like finishing move, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll try not to give away the secrets of it too much, but with a lot of creatures in Dis and an animator as well as a lot of creatures in Logos, you can do the maths a bit here and think about how you might be using that Obsidian Forge to finish a game unexpectedly.
It's always real cool. Also, the amount of Ember control in this deck is very high. Yeah, It's got 18. You're looking at 20 creatures with a big city state, double Infernus, Shrix, Citizen Shrix, a bunch of things that move Ember around in the Saurians, such as the double Primus, the Ludos, and the Monument to Primus.
Yeah, and it's a double Ludo that, when played in conjunction with the Gluttony, can be really dangerous because you can then say, okay, well, the Gluttony's got this Ember on along with the rest of my creatures. You need to kill the Gluttony because if you don't, all this Ember's going back to my pool. But then if you don't kill the Ludos, all this Ember's going back to the common supply, and either way, you're not getting that Ember back. So I think the interesting thing about Hyperberg is it's got really good synergy between the houses.
Yeah.
Some decks you see they've got 3 good houses that all do good things and maybe have like a little bit of synergy and work well together. This deck, like the houses can work together real well and all kind of like help each other achieve each other's aims.
Yeah, so the animator has good targets in all 3 houses. The Booktons can get stuff down that you want out of a different house. The Gluttony combos with the Saurians very well.
Indeed, yeah.
And it's pretty efficient in doing it because you've got Logos, 26 stats Logos, 14 speed with quite a bit of draw.
Yeah, quite a bit of archiving too, Eclectic Inquiry, Sloppy Lab Works, Coronuses. No, I think it's a very strong deck, definitely.
It is, and it is pretty good at most things. I think that's why it gets as far as it does.
Will Vincenzo's decks be stronger? Let's have a little look at them now.
So we start off with the brilliantly named Alpha Das Ass, Seelsorger der Kirche, or Alpha the Ass, Pastor of the Church. And we have some classic coda.
I'm guessing it's pastor is in religious leader, not pastor is in food.
Yes, pastor is in religious leader, as opposed to pastor is in food.
I mean, it would be fun if it was pastor of the church.
Alas, the world is slightly less whimsical than that.
Gosh,
so we have some coda here, and all of these 3 houses pretty much do the thing you think they will do. So you have a Dis with reasonably high disruption. And I'd
say better than reasonably high. You've got Ember, Succubuses, Hysterias, Mind Barbs, Control the Weaks, Arise to get it all back.
Right. Very reasonably high by the standards of Dis, very high by the overall standards of the game. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Just all of that is like value. There's nothing in there that's really kind of annoying. It's all pretty good for you.
Yeah, you've got Mad Burst Untamed, Full Moon and 3 Hunting, which means that you could play a creature and get 4 Ember off it, and 6 if you're talking about Dust Pixie. Nature's
Yeah.
Call, whap that back, play it again. You could see some.
Nepseed for maybe a double full moon or a double.
Oh god, I hadn't
Nature's
even
Call.
noticed that. Yeah, Double Nature's Call. You could see. I mean, you could see some like truly explosive turns from Untamed in
Yeah.
this deck.
But no key cheap.
No, that's the problem. If you're playing against anyone with a TMTP, an Instrumental Graft, Doorstep to Heaven, really limits how much useful that could be. And yeah, with a Chota Hazard, I think this deck would be just almost unplayable. But lacking that, going to be a struggle, but still great Untamed here. Just really high quality cards. Big Twig, the only one that you're like, not a fan of that, but everything else just top grade Untamed.
Yeah, and the Logos is pretty damn fast as well because you have pretty good efficiency and also potentially for a giant library access turn.
Yeah, I think some really good cards to work with the library access too. You've got like Neurosiphon, which is a really nice one. Often can get you like draws a card with the Neurosiphon as well as drawing a card off the library access. Wild Wormhole, I think, is the interesting one here because actually a lot of cards that you can benefit from with using a Wild Wormhole. Say
In a
you
library
hit,
access turn.
yeah, so you hit Hysteria with Wild Wormhole, bring all your Logos
Mhm.
creatures back, play them again. Great. Say you hit a Full Moon, playing Logos creatures, getting Ember for them. Say you hit a Hunting Witch, playing Logos creatures, getting Ember for them.
Arise, get all of your Logos creatures back from earlier.
Exactly, yeah. It's even like just getting stuff like an Ember Imp on that turn and just gonna keep rolling with it can be really good
Yeah.
for disrupting your opponent.
What I found interesting playing a
Oh,
lot of
Nature's Call as well. I didn't even see that too.
oh boy. What I've noticed recently that is Scrambler Storm is very good in the library access turn because it sets it up for the next turn, right? So it means that if you're generating massive amounts of Ember, your opponent can't take it from you. If
Mhm.
you're setting up a big board, they can't wipe it usually. Just sort of
Exactly,
locked
yeah.
in your library access games for an extra turn.
Indeed, yeah. And especially with like kind of stuff like say you can get down trying to think like a Pit Demon. Actually, no, Pit Demon's not great. I was going to say Pit Demon and Rocket Boots. Witch of the Eye, and put some Rocket Boots on it after a Scrambler Storm. You can have a
Ooh,
real nice Untamed turn next for that.
potentially so. Oof, that would be brutal.
But yeah, so I think this is the thing. Like this, I think at first glance, this looks like a very standard kind of Coda deck. But I think like with the stuff that with the interactions you can do with that Wild Wormhole, you could see this being incredibly explosive.
Yeah, and presumably has used to be even better because it obviously used to be a combo deck.
It did indeed. Yeah, used to have that lands combo we all feared back in the day,
All the way back in whatever year it was in the before times.
in the before times.
Uh,
Just gonna stare into the
so
middle distance for a second. Okay, we're
let's move
back.
back to the current times and look at Ciesia, Spawn of Jitterbreak.
Hmm.
And we are up here with Mass Mutation.
Holy card draw, Batman.
Yeah, so I looked at this and I was like, you don't see many Z-Force competitive decks much. And then I noticed that it has Nell and Transporter platform, and it all started to fall into place as to exactly what was going on here. Because
Yes.
you've got the Transporter platform, you've got the Nell, uh, and you've got 6 upgrades, including the Stealthster in Star
Mhm.
Alliance.
Yeah, I mean, Stealthster, I've said before in these, is a card that is almost never played as a creature. I think maybe played Stealthster as a creature like once or twice, but
Very rarely.
very rarely.
So obviously that's going to do a huge amount of just drawing through your deck in an almost unstoppable way at a certain point.
Hmm. Yeah. And you've also got in the other two houses, like just firstly, just good things, some good things to hit with a transport platform if you haven't got any Starlight stuff down. Like Old Bruno, great to hit with a transport platform. Subtle Otto is a nice one. Just to kind of replay those too. But with like Lights Out, great cards against like those big Saurian boards with the Ludos are down, Mugs to take out some Ember off people. Look over there for a bit of steal action.
Yeah, and it's going to be a rushier version because despite having shadows, there's not that much Ember control. There's a bit,
Hmm.
and you'll cycle through it a lot with the drawing, but it's 4.9 is not on the high side.
No, not the level you'd expect to see in a deck with a Shadows House. Definitely not.
Uh, so the 28 expected Ember is coming partly from the Star Alliance, partly from the Shadows, but also from the Untamed,
Hmm.
uh, which has like lots of kind of go fast tricks.
Yes.
So you've got the sort of Fandangles, which can potentially go off real big. You've got Keyfrog Savage Clash, potentially a finishing combo.
Yeah, and you got a lot of ways to increase the power on the Key Frog too with your growth search, your rapid evolutions, so you can like do it in the same turn. Also, Gloriana's Attendant, so Key Frog isn't necessarily going to be the smallest creature. Very easy to get that Savage Clash to kill a Key Frog and get the
Yeah,
win.
some of the twos and ones in the deck elsewhere as well.
Yeah, only difficulty is though not the best Ember generation just within the Untamed. When you look at it though, you've got kind of like a few Ember pips here and there, but you haven't got the usual kind of stuff like Ghost Hawks to reap out of house, things like that.
Yeah, and a lot of the Amber enhancements you've got went on helpfully upgrades, but it does mean that your burst is coming from Star Alliance more than it is Untamed.
Hmm. But with the amount of
Uh,
card draw, I think often you're just going to end up on a turn where you've got so much Ember in your pool from your Star Alliance turn that you can just then play all your Untamed, get a bit of Ember from the Growth Search, the Rapid Evolution, that kind of thing, and then just kind of win out with that Savage Clash
yeah.
play.
I did think that the Wild Bounty was a very sad Wild Bounty until I checked the enhancements, and that Rapid Evolution has 2 draw pips on it.
Oh, so it does. Oh
Yeah,
God.
potential for Wild Bounty, get to Ember, draw 4 cards.
Yeah, I'm just looking at this is an enhanced Stealthster with an Ember Pit, Blast Shielding's got a Cat Icon, which is pretty useful. Yeah, some good enhancements knocking around there on those. But yeah, that could definitely be a great one to hit with the Wild Bounty.
Hasn't been banned yet, I think, primarily because of the final deck.
Desdemona, Zoologin der Armen Basis.
Poor base zoologist. And so we've been seeing a lot of double tribute 6 Ember decks. They've come up a bunch in the KFPL, and yet somehow this is the grossest one I've seen yet.
I love it. I love it so
because
much.
it has, firstly, triple tribute, which is ridiculous in of itself.
It is,
But
yeah.
then you also have Calipigian Ideal, an Imperial Forge, and 6 Ember.
Yeah, so you're going to be taking someone's Ember, they're not going to be getting it back, and you're going to be using it to forge. But say for example, that person does want to get their Ember back and has found a way to kind of like return your creature, destroy your creature, do something to get around all of these things. Tell me what's in the logos, Callum.
You've got an interdimensional graft just to get all of that back. If you haven't just forged a free key from Imperial Forge.
Not only do you have that graft as well, but you have double Igor and a Telltale Vapors to try and find it too, if you haven't drawn it already. Yeah.
And a Knowledge's Power as well for potentially either big Ember game or just sticking stuff away in the archives.
Yeah, not the most kind of archiving in the deck just in general, so I think you mostly are going to be using that to archive rather than get a big Ember payoff from it. You know, you got a Telltale Vapors, that's about it.
You'll be looking
Technician sometimes.
You'll be looking for your big Saurian combos, I think.
Most definitely. And last but by no means least, you've got the Untamed, which isn't bad, but I think it's just kind of damned by kind of like having really, really attractive friends.
Yeah, it's decent, right? Double Cauldron Boil is good. Bog Bank is always handy. Pose Pixie is potentially game-winningly useful at various points.
Yeah, Tantadlin's also good for just being the biggest power creature to kind of do that tribute stuff on without it being a thing that you necessarily care about killing.
Yeah.
And also being a thing that isn't high profile for people to remove too.
Yeah, like it's just a lot of effort for not much reward to remove a Tantadlin.
Yeah.
Although you have a Centurion Sinopius and a Pterodactyl as well, so I can't imagine it's that difficult.
You do, but you know what I mean? It might be the kind of thing where like you got your Tantadlin down, you're going to play your tributes to 6 Emperors first, and then play your Pterodactyls and Centurions, whereas in other games you might have to play those cards first because other people have got big creatures on the board.
Yeah, true. So a lot of useful things in the Untamed, and Logos to set up a giant Saurian combo. So, what do we think about the bans?
I mean, for me, it's a difficult one. Let's look at Vincenzo's decks first. I
think you've got to ban Sasha.
Oh, I said Vincenzo, but you're looking at Vince's deck.
Oh, sorry, Vincenzo.
We'll look at Vince's deck now.
This may happen more than once in VinceT.
Let's look at Sasha. I would 100% say you ban Sasha. I think Sasha is the deck that can just out of nowhere win.
Yeah, everyone's banned it so far. I think it's probably consistently been the correct call.
Yeah, I think the thing with Sasha is that you can play the perfect game, you can do everything you want to do, you can respond to the threat, and then suddenly you'll just have a Martian Generosity key abduction turn happen, and there's nothing you can do. It just happens to you and you lose. The other two decks, at least you can kind of like play around them and have a game of Keyforge and like actually kind of like try and knock them off the game plan. Sasha's so much harder to do that with.
Yeah, and I think I could see a similar logic applying to the other ban i.e. from which of Vincenzo's deck gets banned, in that the Saurian one, like the odds of there just being a giant Tribute Six Emperor or a giant Tribute Imperial Forge, or both.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with the deck. It's got the speed as well to just get around to that where you're almost always going to be doing that every game. Like a lot of cases with these kind of decks, they're slower, so you kind of have to work a bit more to get the pieces together. This deck, it just looks like you're going to be doing that pretty much every game.
Yeah, especially if you're Vince and you're almost certain you'll be playing Abra and Hyperberg. Both decks are quite high on Ember control. They're both very much about stopping your opponent from forging. Abra especially, that's its whole game plan.
Yeah.
So the problem with going huge and Imperial Forge especially, I think you want to strike that out when you have the chance.
Yeah, my only kind of thought would be is that there's maybe a shout for banning the Mass Mutation Caesar deck, purely because Vince doesn't have artifact control. Apart from like that animator, at least not reliable artifact control. And as a result, you could see that transport platform just going off without much response. But I think Vince has got to be hoping that he can control the board sufficiently and just stop having the creatures there to benefit from that before it goes off.
Hopefully, yeah. And I think I would take the risk of that happening over the risk of the Saurians, but that's me. I have a burning
I think this may be just
dino.
this may be just kind of thing of like I like seeing Saurians played, so I'll be like, oh, I want to see the Saurians played. Whereas you
just want to see this happen, rather than it's a good idea.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas you're like, I do like the Starlights doing zoomy things. I want to see the Starlights doing something.
I do like drawing cards.
But yeah. So finally, before we go to the game, in terms of wins, who do you think is going to win this matchup?
It's a difficult question because several of Vincenzo's decks are like something that can hit huge or not, right? Like Ciesia, I need to Jada Break, let's say. If that sort of transporter platform nail doesn't go off, then it could have some real problems. But if it does, I think it could be absolutely crushing. Like the Coda Untamed in Das Ass, like could just generate huge amounts of Ember or not massively fire.
Yeah, it's true. Like you got that library access attempt can be huge, but then the speed is 6.8. So if that's buried at the bottom of your deck, you're already going to struggle. That's the thing. I think that for me, key is about consistency, and that's why I've got to go with Vince. Like I play decks that are consistent. I play decks that kind of like maybe can't do the biggest things every game, but will do the things they do every game. And I think Vince is going to do the things he does every game and kind of like eke out a win.
Yeah, I play it like it's a dangerous, rickety roller coaster. It will go quickly and be incredibly fragile, but you might get to the end alive.
Yeah, whereas Vincenzo, I think, has much more of a puncher's chance where if his decks go off, he gets the win, but they have to go off.
Yeah. So let's find out.
Indeed.
I'm hyped.
Let's see what the game portion.
Vince Bowl.
Hi there. Welcome to the game portion of the episode. We have Vince on the top of the screen playing Oziblava Abra Zigori.
Which is called Abra.
And we have Vincenzo on the bottom of the screen playing Alpha Das Ass Seelsorger der Kirch.
I guess we're going to call it Das Ass. We call it Pastor
yeah, we're going to call it Das Ass.
I feel like we have to call it Das Ass.
And yeah,
conversation.
3 Hunting Witches, a Dust Pixie, and an Nature's Call.
So this matchup is going to be like
the fear.
Huge Ember generation versus huge ability to stop keys from happening.
Both players drawing their opening hands. Are we going to see any mulligans from either player?
The unstoppable force of Coda Untamed versus the immovable object of the Coda.
Of Distant Shadows. Coda Distant Shadows. And to an extent, Sanctum.
Yeah, just a lot of ways to stop keys. So the lack of a key cheat might be deeply depressing.
I think, it can be very significant in this. Also, potential for like some big library access turns too. Double Wild Wormhole, Nero Siphon can be big. Mother, just for that bit of extra draw 2 to kind of get bigger hands for that. Yeah, even in a Rise as well, actually, could come in big.
Yeah, the Rise is real big. There's nothing in Abra that punishes the big Ember. You just lose it all with Doorstep. Ooh, strong Mind Barb early on.
Gotta
be happy. Well, Vince is happy. Vincenzo was not.
No, I think Vincenzo is happy and Vince is not, rather.
Yes, sorry.
This is
it's gonna be a long game.
This is, of course, Vince Bowl. 2 Vinces enter, 1 Vince leaves.
We don't know whether Vincenzo is okay with going by Vince. We should probably call him Vincenzo. But for the purposes of this, it's Vince Ball.
It's Vince Ball.
Control the weak into Sanctum into almost a nothing turn, so pretty brutal.
Does kill that Pit Demon though. Probably be happy about getting
rid
of a Pit Demon.
It's reasonable under the circumstances, but you kind of want to play more cards.
And Control the Weak this early on, you know, it's a good card to get out early, but it's not really limiting that much play from Vince. You know, there definitely later turns you could be using it, say, to get a Key Forge by knocking him out of Shadows or Sanctum.
But yeah, like that's what you'd ideally want to be using it for.
Not just wasting a bit of a turn, especially this early on. But Vincenzo, had a bit of a think here. Plays the Dust Pixie, plays the Stampede. Oh, just getting a 3 Ember here, but you definitely got to be hoping for bigger Untamed turns than that. No regrowth either, so if we set this Dust Pixie going away, it does have an Nepenthe Seed, but harder to use that than, say, a regrowth.
I wonder if he's trying to set up a library access turn.
Quite possibly, yeah. Haven't seen any logos coming out yet.
Of course, brief reminder that this would have been a combo deck in the past.
It would have been, yeah. It does have the Nepenthe Seed and the library access, but sadly, the Erratus library access has made that impossible. Moon Cursor here, MVP of one of Vince's previous games.
And the Nexus, his buddy.
Discards the Evasion Sigil, get out of town. Vince is saying to that.
Yeah, I mean, Dasanas is not going to do a lot of fighting, and he wants to be able to use that Moon Cursor.
He does indeed. But does leave the Dust Pixie on the board. Now, if Vincenzo has got an NH's Call, could be some punishment, but you're going to see Logos instead.
Is this the library access turn?
I got to assume so.
Well, maybe. Could have just...
So Dextry, probably not then, no. Just going to be a bit of a fallow turn, potentially. Just kind of getting some cards out. Neutron Shark, I think probably looking to get rid of, say, that Champion Anaphiel, hard to shift.
Oh, combos nicely with the Dexter, because obviously you kill the Dexter with the Shark, and then it goes back on top of the deck.
Yep, it's something that I have a Neutron Shark Dexter deck, and it's something I do quite a lot. Is going to attach some Rocket Boots to Dexter and a Scrambler Storm. Stop Vince playing any of them with our actions.
Ooh, and he goes to check as well on the same turn.
Yep, goes on 6 as well, which against a deck like Amber is actually quite good. It means you can't use, say, a Drumball very easily. You can't use... Doors to Heaven feels a little bit of a waste, only getting rid of 1 Ember.
Well, Scrambler Storm stops anyway, so it's going to go Sanctum.
He has a Raiding Knight. Could be a real good one to see here.
He's got it.
He's going to just fight with the Anaphiels, get rid of that Neutron Shark. Does he have that Raidy boy? He does have the Raiding Knight. Doesn't put it behind the taunt though, interestingly. I suppose maybe fine with Vincenzo destroying it. Just going like, if you want to destroy it, I've probably got like a Nerve Blast or something at this point
also,
to steal one.
He's just not going to fight into it. It's a 4-2. His deck has nothing remotely that big.
No, it does
not. Fight with.
It really doesn't. That's true. We are going to see an Ember Imp and a Dust Imp and a Succubus coming out of Vincenzo. They're just really limiting Vince, making his decisions much harder.
Could just fight those off the board with Sanctum for a couple of times.
Unlikely to want to play another Sanctum turn. Has discarded the Blinding Light last turn. You know, we've seen some Sanctum already, like early on. Probably has a hand, say, full of Dis. Only seen that Ember discarded. Unlikely to want to be calling Sanctum again, but maybe we'll see it. Vince having a bit of a think here. Vince, a very considerate player, often known for kind of taking some time with his turns, taking some time to kind of like look at all the angles, work out exactly what he wants to do. But it's earned him quite a lot of success thus far, so clearly a technique that's working out for him as it
does make him very good. You can see the matrix a little bit. Is he going to go Dis?
Yep. What are we going to see from Dis here?
With Vincenzo not a check, he's got a bit of time to start moving around.
And he's going to Gongoozle Ember Imp, freeing up his hand. Tendrils of Pain, just to get a bit of damage on some things. Plays the Dust Imp of his own. I maybe would have been tempted to play the Dust Imp before the Tendrils of Pain, just to get some damage on the Dust Imp.
Maybe, but there's very few things in either deck that does 1 damage. Most stuff does 2 damage.
Control the Weak. Maybe into Untamed here, I think is the house I'd go to.
Oh, I don't know.
Vincenzo, though, unlikely to have a great... it's the kind of thing where if he was gonna play an Untamed turn anyway, he's just gonna play the Untamed turn. But if he's not ready to play that Untamed turn, if he's only got like 2 or 3 Untamed creatures, then it's a good time to
Uh,
just kind of force him to do
well,
that.
puts them into logos, and we are getting a library access, so
We
this could be
are indeed.
backfiring hugely.
I'm gonna get
You
a.
can root with Dexter and then fight with Dexter into something
And
to
he does, of
maybe
course, have those rocket boots on the Dextry, but it's just going to root twice with the
read
Dextry.
twice. Well, that was a
That,
very minimal library access turn, so I
yeah, I
can't
think
imagine he's that happy.
Vincenzo just going for a bit of a risk there, thinking, well, I can maybe just chain together some library access and just going to go ham with it, but unfortunately, just gets cheese.
I'm really quite hungry.
And we're going to see Miasma and a ghostly hand from Vince, stopping Vincenzo from forging and getting Vince some tasty, tasty Ember to go on to check here.
And the miasma is really huge in sort of Abra's game plan, right? Because you look at what they've got set up, you're potentially going for the forge here with 8. So then you're in a position to either doorstep, or unless they've generated literally no ember on their turn, you can hit them with the Drumble.
Yes, indeed you can. I mean, you could also hit with the Drumble by, say, fighting the Dustin into the other Dustin, putting Vincenzo onto 8, and then using the Drumble
Very
here
true,
too.
very true. That'll be
And
a big play.
that may be why he's left that kind of blank spot next to the champion and the field, just to be like, okay, if you want to play, if I want to play a Drumble, I can protect it. But we are going to see Untamed here, though. Full Moon plays 2 Mooks and Independent Seed. Nature's Call, going to return, I assume, the 2 Mooks to replay again. Maybe whack that Raiding Knight back.
Maybe.
Oh no, doesn't return any of his own creatures, just gets the Nexus, the Anafiel, and the Sequis. Interesting.
I can see that because Abra's got like specific pieces and key stops that it's looking for, and just having 3 creatures of 2 different houses go back in your hand could potentially really slow you down.
Yeah, and we mentioned in the deck chat that Abra, not a fast deck either, I think, or has negative speed potentially. So
Very low speed.
yeah, so I think it's a strategy I've occasionally used in similar decks. Is just kind of being like, right, I'm just going to put things back in your hand. You have to replay them. And yeah, I think very good play from Vincenzo there. Actually, not the decision I would have made, but very sensible.
You're Sanctum again. So is there a doorstep here? Because that would be real big.
I mean, we haven't seen one yet, and
Still
halfway
half
through
the
the
deck
deck,
left.
are going to see the take hostages.
I never know because some people are a doorstep first, other people are a doorstep last.
I've got to
think you
no, you
didn't
would
kill
have
the
played the
doorstep.
doorstep and then hit fault with the take hostages here. So Vincenzo probably getting his first key of the game
You would
right
have fought the
about now.
doorstep as well.
That's very true.
It's
Yeah,
also worth noting that those double Mamooks did make Vince pay 8 for that first key, which is
it did
could be a
indeed. Yeah.
bit in a deck that doesn't necessarily generate Ember that quickly.
Yeah. So both players onto their first key now, as Vincenzo has the turn.
Back and forth so far, but it's been very interesting.
Yes.
We haven't seen a single Hunting Wish yet, so there's some huge Untamed Burst potential, I think, coming.
Especially with that dependency to bring back, say, the Nature's Call too. Could see some real nasty plays with that. But I mean, just difficult to know how actually impactful it's going to be, though. We've not seen either doorstep, we've not seen the Drumble from Vince either. So I think the problem with your Vincenzo is you just know I can make all this Ember, but I'm probably not going to keep it.
Yeah, he might try and wait out the doorstep and the Drumble, but I think Vince is going to have the patience to just sit there and wait for that to happen.
And not the best Ember control in Das Ass either to do that is the other trouble. So, you can FS in principle, but you're hitting yourself as much as your opponent there. Lash of Broken Dreams, I guess, but I think Vince has just got the deck that's better equipped to go long than Vincenzo does.
He's got a bit of a problem with the Sanctum board as well, because obviously if you call Sanctum, you get 2 with Jehu the Bureaucrat and Reap a couple of times. You've also got the Sigil of Brotherhood sat there to just take a different turn and then Reap 4 times.
You do indeed. Yeah, you've got stuff like Seki as well to just kind of do a bit of Reap. It does fight the Dust Image to the Raiding Knight, get a couple of Ember.
And a Rise, perhaps?
Perhaps. Hysteria.
Ooh, okay. Interesting.
So, again, just keep gumming up Vince's work, keep slowing him down, putting the brakes on.
puts 2 untamed creatures back into his hand for any potential big burst turn.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what Vincenzo is doing here, is just kind of like trying to kind of set himself up, trying to disrupt Vince as much as possible. And but I suppose thinking as well that he
And yes, we
didn't,
do have the Arise, so there's
and
going to be a bunch of disruption coming down. The
es-
Ember Imp and the Succubus.
especially that Ember Imp actually could be really powerful here.
This is going to hurt.
Yeah, and we
Um,
are going to see Vincenzo go to check.
he's got plenty of shadow space removal still knocking about.
He does
There's a
indeed.
poison wave, there's some nerve blasts.
Trouble with the poison wave is it would give Vincenzo a couple of Ember from that Dust Imp.
It would.
And
If he has charge, that could be quite big with all those sanctum creatures going back.
yeah, charge would be great because yeah, you would be able to play charge, play a sanctum creature, hit the Ember Imp, and then keep going with your turn. Potentially even with a doorstep at that point, I could see happening.
That's bad though to just put all his creatures back in hand. So if some of the key stops are still in Vince's deck, he's got a real problem.
Yeah, and we haven't. I don't think we saw him draw many cards after that sanctum turn, if any. I'm not sure actually. So the fact that he didn't have the
he drew 3, so we'll see what he's got now. He's in a bad place, I think.
Yeah, I think Vincenzo probably banking on, well, he didn't have the doorstep before, otherwise he would have used it. Maybe he hasn't drawn the doorstep again.
Yeah, another big problem is that even if you can get rid of this disboard, there is the Nepseed Arise play to just bring it all straight back.
Yeah, today is going to be the day where we put it all back to you. We are going to see shadows. I got to think maybe, yep, a poison wave there.
The poison wave, so I
Does
think
give
might
Vincenzo...
be giving up the key unless there's potentially some steel coming.
I think, but the thing is here though, I still think Vince isn't in that bad a position because even if you do give Vincenzo that second key, you've still got the Drumble and both doorsteps, and you know the big Untamed turn is coming, but you're like, well,
I would
do it.
I think you Arise the Dis here. That was not a great turn with him dealing with this. He's drawn no cards. And
yeah,
so I think you just get it all back.
And you kind of have to, I think, as well, because if you leave this next... Well, you probably aren't going to choose Shadows again just to use the Nepenthe Seed. I think it's
probably not. But that risk is certainly there.
Yeah, it very much is. I mean, what do we have in Vince's discard? Miasma actually could be a strong one to bring back on a Shadows turn.
But nope, he's just going to burst and hope that he doesn't have the answer.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you just have to do this in Key 4. Sometimes you just have to be like, if he has it, he has it. And maybe just going to go for a moderate burst here. Only playing one Hunting Witch.
Can Nepseed.
He could Nepseed, yeah.
Gets him to check and above.
With the Nature's Call to return the Nexus, I suppose. Or may just go for the Dust Pixie. No, goes for the Nature's Call. Yeah, I think it's very, very sensible. He's going to return the Murmook and the Nexus now. This is crunch time here for Vince. Does he have the doorstep? Does he have the Drumble?
And what's he going to do about the Hunting Witch? Because obviously that's in of itself a big problem.
It is indeed.
And these sort of constant returning creatures to hand, again, a slow deck is just dragging you down. And there's the Drumble. Okay.
Shoeless is...
Missed opportunity there.
Yeah. Oh no, I couldn't because obviously capture 7.
Work.
I think that was I think Vincenzo probably like saw that, was considering it, and just went, okay, no, I can't go above 7. Want to minimize the chances of him getting a good Schuler off. Very nice play from Vincenzo here.
Yeah, the problem is that he's only drawn 1 card there, Vince. So if Vincenzo can just fight that Drumble.
Yeah, the only other side of this could be like the biggest slow roll of a doorstep to heaven I've ever seen from Vince, and if so, I am very impressed. Effervescent Principle, obviously with all that Ember on the Drumble as well, doesn't affect Vincenzo at all, but does affect Vince quite significantly. Plays a Guardian Demon off the Wild Wormhole. No, can heal 2 damage from the Pit Demon to kill the Drumble.
Yeah, the problem is that we know like 4 out of those 6 cards in Vince's hand are Sanctum creatures that got Hysteria'd.
They are indeed.
So unless he's had some very good fortune and hit the doorstep here. But I think even if he has, he's in a bad place.
I think so, yeah. Vince
Seeds doesn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just been that bottom 12 cards of the deck there. That's the risk of playing a slower deck, is that sometimes you just don't draw the things that you need.
Yeah, and I think very much exacerbated by all these creatures coming back to hand. He just
Mm,
couldn't. There were several turns where he just couldn't draw.
definitely. I think, yeah, I think that's the thing actually here. Very well played from Vincenzo.
Yeah, oh, it was excellently done.
We will rejoin you in the second game. See you in a second. And here we are at the second game of the episode. Once again, we have Vince on top of the screen playing Oziblova Abra Zigori. And we have Vincenzo on the bottom of the screen playing Caesar, Spawn of Jetta Break.
Yes, it does mean that, fortunately for me and unfortunately for you, Vince made the choice to ban the ridiculous Saurian deck.
Womp womp.
Great move. Love to see it.
But instead, we have the ridiculous transport platform Armory Officer Nell hella
Z4.
upgrades deck.
Yeah, I think, what was it, like 6 out of the 12 Starlight creatures are upgrades, and then there's Nell and Z-Force.
Mm-hmm.
So some real potential for shenanigans.
Yep, and unfortunately, no artifact control from Vince, so this could be a rough one.
He's got a Snudge, but it's soft.
Yeah, not what you want to see, really.
You want that big hard R.
You do indeed. And Shahuda
Okay.
Bureaucrat, nice one to get on the board straight off the bat, especially if you've got some Sanctum in hand. But we are going to see some Untamed. Ooh, Fandangle. Reclaimed by Nature.
Oof.
Double drawing off a Rapid Evolution. Putting a bit of power on the Fandangle. Discards the Savage Clash.
No wild bounty with that super enhanced Rapid Evolution, sadly, but still a decent opening turn from Vincenzo.
For sure. And Vince is going to go Sanctum. Gets 2 off the Jahoo. Raiding Knights capture 1. Very nice there. Just going to make it harder to get that Fandangle to have its effect. Plays the Cleansing Wave to no effect, though. Can't be thrilled about that. And then gets a Reap with the Jahoo. And Vincenzo, what is he going to do here?
Wait, sorry, who is this bureaucrat?
Jahoo.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you. Jahoo is this bureaucrat. I know.
Boo. Boo.
The old ones are the best.
But yeah, not a great turn from Vincenzo either, there, though. Just a wild bounty to nothing, really. Just to kind of get out of the hand and a Savage Clash to destroy 1 creature.
And that's the second of your 2 Savage Clashes as well. So you're looking absent board clear now and could be for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, Jahoo the Bureaucrat is a nice card to get rid of. It's, you know, it's one that can spiral a lot more. And I suppose in a deck like Vincenzo's, it doesn't have the greatest amount of creature control, really. You know, it's got like little bitty kind of things like mugs. Look over there, there's a lights out. But, you know, nothing apart from those Savage Clashes that can really just gonna get rid of a creature. And Vince, I think, goes for the disc. Gets that Dust Imp on the board. Tendrils of Pain, get a bit of damage down. 3 Fates going to destroy everything, including that Fandangle. Get himself onto check bright and early.
And importantly, get rid of that Fandangle before it becomes a real danger.
Yeah, which it definitely could do. Subtle Otto hits the
gotta
Rise
hurt.
and catches with the old Bruno.
Does ditch the Rise early. It's not when you want it, so it's maybe not the worst thing in the world. Also, there's 2 of them, so
there is 2. Yeah, I figured I forgot there was 2 there, but yeah, I suppose Vince maybe not too devastated about that as he goes into Shadows, hits the bait and switch to steal 1. Poison Wave gets some damage down, and Ghostly Hand gets him a couple more, and goes back to 8 Ember with 3 on the old Bruno.
Got some classic Code of Shadows, and here comes the Nell. So let's see if this starts to go off ridiculously.
I think this definitely could, as we see Stealthster put down. Ember on the Stealthster gives a draw, gives that Nell some elusive Observe You Max. Gives an Ember, allows it to reap and capture 1, draws a card. And we await with bated breath. Will there be a Mutagenics Researcher? Also enhanced. Ember for days this turn. There's the Z Particle Tracker. There's the Z-Ray Blaster.
Oh, and there's the Z-Force agent himself. I've just noticed this. Obviously, the Z-Ray Blaster gives that ability fight. Z-Particle Tracker lets you search for more upgrades if you fight with that Nell in your deck.
But I think it has to have something to fight, which Vince might be reticent to give this Nell. But he's going to make a Miasma stop Vincenzo from forging. Relentless Whispers takes out that old Bruno, gets himself back up to check.
The Nell is concerning, but he's on 1 key 8 Ember, and Vincenzo is yet to forge.
Yep, and obviously not giving that Nell anything to fight and find more upgrades with. Just gonna let it sit there. You can reap with the Nell, but can only capture one if he does so. So Vincenzo having a think here. Goes
We have
Starline.
already seen quite a lot of
There's
oh
the
boy.
transport platform.
This is going to look very concerning to Vince now.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's going to go off in a second, and also you'll stack up all the upgrades on the Z Force, which is much worse.
Yeah, we've also already seen that that 3 Fates as well, which could have been the big one to get rid of. I don't really think Vince has anything else to take this out with. Not easily, anyway.
I don't think he does, no. It's more of an incremental thing, like your Poison Waves and Relentless Whispers, but they're also pretty gone. Like that 3 Fates would have been his main trick to get rid of it.
Yeah, Control the Weak could be really good here just to make him play anything other than Star Alliance, I think we could see.
I mean, we're saying this like Vince isn't 2 keys to nil up.
Yeah, and also we haven't seen a Doorstep to Heaven, we haven't seen a Rumble, we haven't seen anything like that thus far too.
So could easily be in a position to just lock him out of key forging, even if he can do ridiculous nonsense.
Yeah, Blinding Light as well could be really good in a Star Alliance turn. Obviously can still use that transport platform, but limits the amount of reaping he can do. And also, like, with that Ember on the Nell as well, if he does transport platform, obviously is going to be bringing that all back to hand and giving Vince that Ember back.
Yeah,
do see the Drumble capturing 11. Control the Weak. Gotta think into Untamed here would be my choice. I know, goes for the Shadows. That's a surprise.
I can see that because you want him to use the Shadows turn in his hand now while you're not on check, as opposed to the next turn where you potentially are going to be on check.
Very true, very true. I just think we have already seen like 6 Untamed cards this game. I'd be surprised if he's... I suppose with all of the drawing off of the Nell, there's a decent chance he would have had more, but we do see the Mug here going to hit that Drumble, and that'd be the kind of things I'd be concerned about. Much less creature removal in the Untamed.
This is true. Both Savage Slash has gone. Opportunist hitting with the Armory Officer Nell as well.
And look over there to steal one. Yeah. I suppose maybe has a Doorstep. Maybe slow rolling that. I could definitely see.
Half of his deck is not here yet. He could arise Drumble for additional comedy.
As I said, I just think I was surprised by the choice of Shadows with.
And there it is.
There's the Doorstep. Okay.
That is 11 Ember.
Yeah, and charge. Vincenzo lamenting the loss of his 11 Ember.
Well, welcome to playing Abra. He'll probably do it again at some point in the game. I wonder if we can take out this Nell here.
I feel like no, he definitely can't. Because he only has 3 cards left in hand, and that Nell is 7 power.
Then no, you cannot.
You could maybe take out the... Oh, that's just it. Just gets the Ember.
I mean, doorstep for 11 Ember is not the worst turn in the world.
It's all right, isn't it? Really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's okay.
We are going to see a huge Star Alliance turn here, though.
Yeah, and this is what Vince must have been worried about for a while, because obviously you're about to draw
and puts blast shielding
another
on
5 or
top
6
of the
cards.
Nell. So yeah, that's going to be 5 cards minimum from Nell going to be drawn this turn.
Yeah, and this is where it
has the Z particle tracker too. I don't think any of his upgrades are in the discard. They're all in the deck, though, so can get that 6th.
Oh, it does get them. It does get them from the Oh, he's just gonna choose to capture one. Bit pointless with the transporter platform, I guess. Yeah.
Why the heck not?
Choice now whether to stack up the Nell or to stack up the Z-Force agent for the big fight Ember Gen.
No, he's going to go for the... Oh, interesting, playing it on the... Oh, no, has got the Nell down. I thought he hadn't got the Nell down for a second, but no, he's just going to stack...
so gets the opportunity for a big fight.
On stacks. On this Z-Force
agent.
And
this is the sort of ridiculousness that can happen with Nell, Transporter Platform, and 6 upgrades.
But I'd say Vince still 2 keys to Nell up, though he's definitely not out of it yet. I mean, Vincenzo's deck not got the best Ember control.
That's the thing, yeah. But obviously he's recycling round very, very quickly.
Very true, yeah.
I've lost count of how many cards he's drawn at this point in this turn.
A lot is our professional.
And he's about to fight the Schuler and get however many that is.
Plays a Key Frog too. Oh, plays the Key. Can forge this turn as well. Oh no, wait. Can he? No, I don't
Well,
think he
how
can
did
actually.
he?
I
Is he
know
ever
I
good way to
missed.
kill?
I didn't realize what Z-Force Agent's ability was.
Well,
Gain
he's getting
6.
6
We
6
got
Ember
a.
there.
I mean, but still, Vince does have the Arise, so potentially can bring back that
Yeah.
Drumble. He got another doorstep knocking around somewhere too. So
Did get an upgrade from his deck. I'm just gonna add that on. Just
yeah,
to
just
ward that thing every turn as well.
yeah, and of course does.
So, I mean, Vince's deck is equipped to deal with this nonsense, but
I mean, how equipped can any deck be for someone who is drawing 6 cards a turn, reaping with a whole bunch of stuff, playing a bunch of creatures, and just generally making
fighting something that gives you like 8 Ember when you
he's going to
fight.
kill the Nell though. Okay,
Kills the Nell. Okay, that's step
so
1.
he's going to stop the drawing at least, but isn't going to stop all the Amber gain. Is the bigger problem with the transport platform?
Indeed. Has some time to find either the Arise for the Drumble or the doorstep, the second doorstep.
Yeah,
But
but this
he's
is
going to get the key here, Vincenzo.
we haven't seen the blinding light yet. I don't believe
I
either.
think we have.
I don't think we have. No.
No, we haven't. That was the
So
other
I
game.
think blinding light could be the other one that could potentially swing this a little bit. But the problem here is though that what I think we're going to see is.
Is there any case you don't just go Star Alliance?
Well, the problem here is that we could definitely see this Key Frog, Fortune Key 2. So you fight with the Commander Chance, the Nexus, and then you fight the Key Frog.
Oh shit! Yes, that'll do it. That's a problem.
So that's a big problem. Is that Vincenzo's almost certain to get a second key here, and he might even not do that as well. Is the thing. I'd be tempted not to, and just say.
No, I think you take the key when you can get it. There's every chance that you're about to get doorstepped.
There is, but I'd say you just slow roll it and just go, okay, well, I'd rather do that for my final key because it's easier.
It's gonna go Untamed. It's interesting.
Hits the Fandangle.
Okay.
And that makes the platform even better. Growth Surge, and yep, this puts that Key Frog out of range. Just go for the Sacra Beast. Boost.
Just stacking up that board.
Yep, and just making this is what I mean though. You've got to make Vince have his basically his doorstep or his Arise. And then next turn, you just keep doing it every turn. You just keep making him have the answer every turn. And when he's playing that answer, you also just make it really hard for him to also advance his own board state and advance his own Ember.
And in the meantime, you have the opportunity to try and draw back round to your own Ember answers.
Indeed, you do.
Go on Sanctum. There's doorstep number 2.
Doorstep to heaven. Champion Anafeel. Terms of Redress, going to capture onto the Nexus.
That Nexus is going to die to a big Z-Wave fight, I think.
Almost certainly, yeah. And this is the problem here, is that just kind of...
Although, problem now is that all the lights out will do it.
Yeah.
He might struggle to return that Z-Force to hand unless it's warded, because it's got the Ember on it.
Right, but the thing is, though, with the ward, you can transport a platform to return all of the upgrades to your hand, leave the Z-Force on the board, and then just replay all the upgrades.
You can, but then you can't get the fight ability, which is kind of handy.
You can't,
but he's just going to bring in a shit ton of ready creatures anyway, so...
I also just don't think he cares with the amount of Ember he has, really. You know,
yeah.
The Ember isn't the issue for Vincenzo. Vincenzo could have 7 or 700 Ember at this point, and I don't think it matters because...
Yeah, as long as he has more than 6.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Either way, it's just going to be whether Vince has the Arise at this point.
Abra is clinging on for dear life, edging towards check for key 3.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a think here. What does Vince need to have to... And I think he's going to hit with the Key Frog. Oh, and the Key Frog leaving himself on 6 as well. Oh, that's very smart.
Nah, it's very nicely done. Mugged the Key Frog, then reaped with a Nexus coming in ready to shoot the Key Frog for 1 Ember, putting himself on 6, unavailable to Drumble. And that is, quite frankly, excellent play.
And I don't think Vince has anything to stop him at this point.
The Arise would bring back a Shula.
The Arise would bring back a Shula, yeah. You probably would have to hold to the Drumble as... The trouble is that
Ooh,
with such a thin deck that Vincenzo has now as well, is that you can presumably
yeah.
just draw back around that, say, that Rad Penny, and
And
Vince
there it is.
concedes.
Doesn't have the Arise, can't stop him. Well, that was
No,
brutal.
that was, yeah, just once those upgrades got rolling, Vince didn't have the response, unfortunately.
Once the hands got too big and the board got too big, and
Hmm.
therefore he was able to just keep forging, and he put a lot of stuff in Vince's hand as well. In hindsight, it may have been better swapping to Hyperberg to control the board.
Quite possibly,
Possibly,
yeah.
yes, but then you would have had this as the third game.
Yes, you still would have had to play this at some
Yeah,
point,
like
indeed.
this matchup still would have happened.
Yeah, and I think that's just
Um,
the issue when I maybe went to deck here. It's just the lack of speed kind of did him in. I think, you know.
yeah, but I mean, like this deck up until this match has not lost a game.
Mm,
He's gone 4-0 with it across 4 games. So it could have not unreasonable believing in it.
no. Well, no,
But yes,
Vincenzo here, a bit of an upset. This is Vincenzo's first win of the KFPL, coming against one of the group leaders in Vince. So, I'd say a bit of an upset here, but very well played by Vincenzo. It felt like too. You know, just kind of like that key frog play that he did to get himself onto 6 was excellently played. Same in the first game, just really playing around what Vince was doing and really making Vince's life hard with returning those creatures to hand.
yeah, I think it goes to show all the groups are pretty open. A lot of very good players
Yeah,
in it. So even if he hasn't won a game yet, he's played some good games and has proved he's doing very well.
yeah, I think pretty much to get to the KFPL, you need to be an excellent Keyforce player with some excellent decks, and I think this proves that even players who where you're looking at it and being like, oh, he hasn't won a game yet, can still, like I say, pull out
Yeah,
results like
yeah.
this.
I mean, yeah, he's lost to several other high quality players.
Indeed. But yeah, well, thank you very much for listening. I have been David Baron von Fabulous Lark.
And I've been Callum, the good Doctor Young.
We've been Screechball Commentaries. Thank you very much for listening, and we hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hi guys. So welcome to the third game of the episode. As you guys probably know, this match only went to 2 games. As a result, we like to kind of add on as sealed games in of this, just because we don't want it to be like you see, oh, okay, well, this is the second game and it's only say 10 minutes long. Probably not gonna have time for a third game here. So we like to just kind of add in this third game to kind of mean that it doesn't make it clear it's a foregone conclusion in the game. Keeps you guessing. So we're gonna play
Also,
with
a
this.
little bit of friendly competition between the two of us.
It is, yeah. It means you're just gonna get a nice sealed game going as well. I mean, it's not gonna add any new information. We always say we're gonna talk about the game afterwards, and then we just kind of end up swearing at each other and taunting each other over our plays. So
Yeah,
feel free.
I can't talk about Keyforge and play Keyforge at the same time. My
No, it's a
brain
weird
doesn't do
one.
those things.
No, yeah, me neither. So yeah, it's feel free to watch this if you enjoy kind of hearing listeners to us chat shit. Feel free to turn off now and go and do something else. We will not be offended, nor will we know.
We're just recordings. We can't control your lives.
We can't. Okay. Ooh, do I keep this? Got a nice AOA deck here.
I have some fun mass mutation.
I think
I think I do keep that.
I think I will keep this as well.
Ooh, interesting.
Get chained, boy.
Not a huge fan of that.
Good. Ha. Your tiny champion Anafiel will be cold like the weak man he is.
Oh, that's actually quite annoying.
Ha.
That actually is really annoying. Because I had lots of lovely fragile dinosaurs that I went to put behind him.
Well, you will not be able to, you scoundrel.
That is annoying. Not gonna lie.
Well, this dinosaur is gonna get eaten. Nom 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 nom.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm gonna purge that champion Anafiel then. And no one's forging their first key. None of us.
God. Oh, this game's gonna take fucking forever.
I don't know. I mean, I also can't forge my first key, so I don't want this trying to keep it alive for that long.
Yeah, let's not get into one of those weird situations where neither of us is able to actually do anything.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal. Okay, I think we do this. Septum. Let's Stunny, stunny, stun, stun.
I think I'm seeing a big problem with
Nom.
this deck already.
Delicious.
Would you like to know what the problem is?
Is it a lack of board clear for chance?
It may be, you know.
Maybe. Oh dear, oh dear. No, my Ear of the Dead. I need him for stuff. Okay. That's probably. But then.
I'm not going to give that Key Frog 2 armor, as if that was a sensible idea.
I mean, you know, he's beefy now at least. Go. Take this stun away. I think put him away.
Okay, at least we're getting rid of that nonsense.
Yeah, well, I know I got rid of your nonsense too. We both got rid of each other's nonsense. It is what it is.
Yeah, you can have that key, I think. Yeah, probably.
Nice. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Well, I can stop you by replaying the Citizen Tricks, but it's really not for a good turn.
You just unstun your console Primuses. That'd be nice.
It would be nice. You can get real big. Do I play this? Hold on a second.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think there's like 3 mutants in this deck. I can see very few.
Okay, so we want to play this first.
Oh, come on.
Then we want to play this, and then we want to put this upgrade on you. Untamed, you say?
Background.
The woods, you say?
Lost.
A Fangtooth Cavern, you say? Oh no. Okay. Well, that kind of scuppered my plans, which can be really cool. Oh well.
Well, tough shit. How dare you want to do cool things against me?
You love doing cool things.
Outrageous behavior.
You're always going on about
I like it when
how...
I do cool things.
Right.
I don't like it when you do cool things.
That's fair.
Also, that's...
You know what?
Okay, so that Logos Ambassador is...
Yeah, I really
is
want
a
to play
dead boy.
this and get the effect.
Oh, what a shame. He was not unified.
Also, you know what's really annoying is that Seraphic armor gives like barely any armor. Like, considering how fucking big this bit of armor is and how like involved it looks, it's 1 armor.
It does fully heal a thing.
I know, you know what I mean. Like, there's a really fucking Imperial Scutum. It's a tiny shield and gives 2 armor, but Seraphic armor, this massive thing, doesn't give anything. I'm just saying. Stupid. That's what it is. Gladiodontus. Big hype. Logos.
Ooh, spicy.
Indeed it
Very
is.
spicy.
Oh,
come on.
We'll go for the Saurian lads.
Come on, this is the bullshit. That is very irritating.
And then we'll do a... okay, it's that one. I always get this one mixed up with the one that like doesn't want to be in a flank to archive stuff. You know that one?
Titan Librarian.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up. I don't know why. I know they're not similar in the slightest, but they just do.
Well, that's fucking annoying, isn't it?
Is it? No, I'm sorry, man. I'm not sorry. That was a lie. I don't know why.
It's fucking Saurian turn, but I can't. So.
Yep.
Some boring Sanctum nonsense it is.
So you said you liked MM Sanctum.
It's just not as good as being able to pick any card out of my deck for no reason.
Yeah, that's true. That is generally better.
Kind
Grey
of hard
Rider.
to contest that one being good. You can get stunned.
No, my Dust Imp. Why? Why you do this? Okay. Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about your fucking bounties, Kevin. Nonsense.
You know, I forgot about Saurus Rex.
Oh yeah.
Just.
I mean, he's
not...
stunned anyway. I feel like it's going to take a bit of time.
He is stunned anyway, but
I think we'll go for some logos then. Nope.
Look, I'm going to get to use some of these Saurians eventually. You'll see.
You'll all see.
Oh, 2 of the fuckers?
Right.
Wait, that is the second one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, it's got armor in it. Fuck. Nice reap then. This game is not going incredibly well for me. Oh, that's why. Okay, that makes sense.
Just need to get a bunch of Ember, really, don't I?
It's tend to help with the winning of the Keyforge. Oh, poor Gladdy. Excuse you.
Also, I would like to use some of these Saurians at some point in life.
That's fair.
I'm just thinking. As I think, I'm just unstun all these boys.
That's fair. I'm also thinking, so I'm fine with it.
It makes minimal difference at this point.
Okay. Cool. Fuck. Oh, these are all interesting decisions. Oh, Fangtooth Cavern. Okay, well, that makes things easier. Oh god, that fucking Fangtooth Cavern. That pesky.
It's like my only removal. Don't give me shit about the Fangtooth Cavern.
I'm not giving you shit about it. It's just fucking annoying. Like,
yeah, my creatures are bigger than yours on average. It looks like.
Yeah. Shockingly, creatures are bigger than other creatures. This is in other news. In other news, water is wet. Fuck. This is a problem.
Like how I finally have a ready Saurus Rex in the center of the battle line, and there's literally no cards in my deck.
Oh god, yeah.
There's no help.
It is of limited use. It's true, I think. Oh, you put me in a real pickle here, mate.
Oh no, not pickles. I know how you feel about pickles.
I hate them. Pickles. Why I order?
Why I order?
Why I order? Is that okay?
So the button you're looking for is the concede button, which is at the top.
No, okay, I know I do that. Game. Okay, cool. There we go. I figured it out. Yes.
So there's Sotikin in there.
That's annoying.
What happened to him? Didn't I? Oh, I probably lost in the woods. That's why. Well, it would be remiss of me to not do this, I think.
Who?
What about saving the ancient power?
Is there a way? Okay, no, we got this. Is a very slim chance, but it's a chance nonetheless. of me not immediately losing.
Well, I would prefer it if you immediately lost.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you've always certainly won, but there is one card that can stop me losing straight
Oh wait,
away.
actually play this card, shouldn't I?
Yeah, it's a pretty good one in my experience.
Yeah, he's handy.
What did we get? No, we didn't get it. Okay, cool. I had a gatekeeper that could have.
Right.
But I haven't got any Ember control in this deck. I've got like fucking Lash of
Yeah,
Broken Dreams.
I was
And
thinking you've done very little to take any away from me.
I've got Lash of Broken Dreams and Gatekeeper, and that's it.
You kind of need some more, really.
Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, and that Bronze Key Imp. Yeah, it was really.
Oh yeah. Welcome everybody. This is Team Screecher Bomb points out what's wrong with AOA mostly.
Okay, we'll do some stuff though.
This deck's like not bad.
No, it looks fine. I mean, nothing to write home about, but
it's a 71 sass.
oh, right, that'll help. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll banish you.
Well, like imagine if I'd managed to do the Saurus Rex stuff early in the game with like all the Strixes and the Chant of Hubris and the Console Parameters.
Oh god, yeah, you would have won a lot harder than you're currently. You currently just won a bit.
Yeah, there's not a great deal amount of creature control in this deck is the problem.
Yeah, that's the ticket. There's the Gatekeeper. There he is. But I mean, it would have mattered because you would have 100% knocked me off check next turn as well, and then won.
Yeah, I mean, I've got
it's.
Yeah, I could capture 4.
And the trouble is, the rest of the disc isn't very good, so I don't want to play distance to use the Lash of Broken Dreams. Oh, let's have a look what mine was. I'm guessing like low 60s, early 50s would be my guess.
Yeah, Team Sass hate AOA.
Yeah, they do, but also this deck's bad, so.
And yeah, I was saying correctly in this case.
63. So.
Not really great, but
no, not as low as I thought it was going to be, but like, yeah, still, 4.2 Ember control. Oh, I had to brought down the Redeemed as well, so that's fine.
Oh yeah, notoriously high quality Ember control, brought down the Redeemed.
But yeah, I mean, especially against where stuff like Sutter Kid is just never going to live. Because there's so much ways to just get rid of it. It was
annoying, right? I had to take bad turns to get rid of it. But yeah, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
Once I got the Fangtooth down, I was like, this will make my life much easier.
Yeah, that was the problem. Yeah, it's just like all my creatures are, but Right, well, that's that game. So we will end the episode off here and say thank you very much for watching. I have been David Baron von Fabulous, Lark.
I've been Callum, the good Dr. Young, current 3-1 leader in the Seal series.
Hate you so much. You're the worst.
Love you.
Should be 2-2. I was robbed. #justice for Baron.
Bye-bye.
Bye.